Well, hello, Hermantown High School seniors. This is a graduation rehearsal video for you to have some idea of what's coming up at the graduation ceremony. We'll start off with some basic information. First of all, no tickets are needed. You can bring as many guests as you would like. There's plenty of room in the Amsoil Arena. There is a $10 charge for parking at the arena. Any band member performing during the ceremony, please remember to do this. Go out and find both your chair for the ceremony, but then also your chair for the band performance. This will help you move back and forth with ease during the ceremony when, before, and then after the band plays. And we really want to emphasize this. Some people get a little nervous or a little anxious about a ceremony or an event like this, and you don't need to be. One of the things that you can do, just like any of the band students, is come and find an adult and we can walk you through the ceremony. We can take you out, find your chair, take a test run, and walk across the stage. There's no problem with that. We really encourage you to do that if you think you'll be a little bit nervous about going through the ceremony. Also, remember that this is an honorable event. You are graduating as an individual, you are graduating as a class, and you are joining decades worth of Hermantown High School graduates, literally thousands of people. And there's a tradition to these events, and we ask that you honor those the best that you can. The ceremony itself lasts approximately 1 hour. Sometimes it goes to about an hour and 10 or an hour and 15 minutes. So you should be able to count on by 3:15 we will be done. The ceremony will start promptly at 2 o'clock, and a reminder that doors open up at 1:30. And that leads us to the processional information. The processional is lining up and getting out to the arena. So we line up, doors open at 1:30 for both students and for guests. And for our students, our seniors, when you get to the stairway at the entrance of the Amsoil Arena, you'll go down the stairs and we'll line up underneath the bleacher area. Guests will go to the seating and be prepared for the ceremony there. Again, doors open at 1:30 for both our seniors and for both seating to come in. We emphasize wear comfortable shoes. With the cap and gown, typically people don't notice the shoes, but there is some walking and going up and down ramps. So please be aware of that. Make a good choice in what shoes you decide to wear. We also, again, emphasize that tradition of the ceremony. We hope that students will keep their apparel to the school issued cap and gown and whatever honorary emblems that may be given to them by the school. There are some examples. Native American students, for example, by statute can have certain decorations on their cap and gown. Valuables, it's best to leave those in a car or with an audience member. The area where we line up, typically there's nobody there, but it is not a secure area. So keep that in mind when you decide where and what you will do with valuables. The biggest thing with this is just stay in order, watch for direction, move slowly, and enjoy the moment. So let's start off with a diagram here. So this is the Amsoil Arena. The top left corner is the stairway leading down to the area underneath the stands where we will line up. And there's something a little symbolic about this. Think about where you started in kindergarten. One of the first things your kindergarten teachers taught you was to get in a line. You got in a line to go to recess, or you got in a line to go to lunch, or you got in a line to go to the buses at the end of the day. And it's kind of a full circle effect here. So one of the last things that we're going to do as a graduating class is to get in line before the ceremony. And we'll lead you on where to go, but basically near the entrance, A's, B's, C's, all the way down to the end of the alphabet on the far side. Note the diagram in that the band is in the back of the arena, the stage is in the far right side, and all the students, seniors, will be seated in front of the stage. So as the processional proceeds, what happens is that we move from the lineup area, and this is the hardest part of the ceremony, is just getting to your chair. All you have to do is follow directions. So again, just that reminder. We will start here. One of the adults will send out each student, and they will space them and remind them to walk slowly. There will be an adult here who will then direct them to the next adult here where the red dot is, who will then point them towards the next adult. Walk slow, go in straight lines, And as you proceed and as you get to this last adult, the last adult will direct you down the row of seats until you find your seat, and then you simply sit down when you get there. Once the first row fills in, we simply move back a row until we get everybody seated. The seat itself is not important. The only thing that's really important is that you stay in order. Just stay in alphabetical order. So once you are seated, the program begins. And the program starts with the Pledge of Allegiance by the Vice President of the class. The Vice President will direct you to stand and then read the Pledge of Allegiance and have a short speech. Please remember that there is a flag in the arena, but also there will be a flag on the stage, and that is the presentation flag, which we should all face. The next part of the program is a welcome speech by the superintendent. This is usually 2 to 3 minutes. Following this is the band performance. So again, seniors who are performing, please make sure you know where your chair is for the band so that you can get there quickly, and then also return quickly after the performance. The next part of the program here is a speech, and this will change from year to year. Some years we may have no speeches. Some years we may have 1 speech, 2, or up to 3 speeches. If we have any speeches at all, the first speech will be after the band performance. Following the student's speech is the presentation of the class by the principal. This is just 2 or 3 sentences stating that you have met the requirements to graduate. The next part of the program is the acceptance of the class. A school board member or the superintendent will read a 2 or 3 sentence statement saying that they recognize that you've earned your diploma. Now, this right here is what we're all really here for. The reading of the graduates' names. So your counselor will start A through K. Next counselor will go through L through Z. And again, you just need to follow directions, move slowly, accept your diploma from the superintendent or a school board member. You accept your diploma with the left hand and shake hands with your right hand. Now, the next bullet point might be the most important part of this video. We ask that everybody please refrain from cheering or yelling or any attention-seeking behavior until the very end. And it's important for this. Everyone deserves to have their name both read, but they deserve to have their name heard. Family members and guests want to make sure that they hear the name of their graduating student. They want to hear it clearly, and if the person ahead of them has a crowd that's cheering or yelling, they may not get to hear that. And so it's really important that everybody respects that. Students, we ask you to please talk about that with your family, and if any parents or guests watch the video, please, we ask you to honor and respect that request. After having your name read and crossing the stage, you'll return to your chair, and we'll have a diagram here for what to do. So an adult here, most likely the principal, will direct the first row to stand up and come to the edge of the stage. Once your name is read, you will cross the stage, and there will be an adult here directing you back to your chair. So here's a little more information on this next slide. So again, an adult here will direct you to stand. You will line up at the edge of the stage. Once you hear your name read, cross the stage, accept the diploma with your left hand, shake hands with your right hand, and then proceed across the stage. Now move slowly so that if people want to get a picture of you, they can. But there will be an adult here on the far side who will simply direct you to go back and return to your chair. And as each row fills in, each row will simply move back to their row and their chair. As the rows cross the stage, this adult here will simply move back, direct the next row to stand, and proceed to get in line. So that's the big part of the ceremony. There's still a little bit more to go. The turning of the tassel is one of the last events, and this is the class secretary or treasurer giving a speech. And during this speech, they will direct all graduates to take the tassel, which starts on the right side of the cap. Use your left hand and pull it across to the left side. That is the symbolic moment that you as an entire class are graduating. After that is the highest academic honors. The principal will read names and provide plaques and call up on stage students who are graduating with a 4.0 GPA. The last part or last speech is the closing remarks by your class president. This is when you throw your cap if you want to. You don't have to. One of the things that happens during the closing remarks, oftentimes during ceremonies, is that people will throw their hat and then they'll want to go get it right away. You don't have to. If your hat goes a long ways away and you can't find it, don't worry about that. After the ceremony, you can go back and find it. It's important that you stay near your seat and don't go running around to try and chase down a hat or anything else. So again, this is when you throw your cap if you want to, and if we need to go back and get it later, we can. But at the end of the closing remarks, there's just a brief pause for just a few seconds where the principal, standing on the side, will make eye contact with the band director, and this will be the signal for the band director to start the recessional. So the processional is when you enter the arena. The recessional is when you leave the arena. This is the end of the ceremony, and we'll move to a diagram here in just a moment. But again, it's important just to stay in order, watch for direction, and move slowly. So the recessional is pretty simple. An adult, most likely the principal, will direct the first row to stand up and exit, simply walking along the side of the arena and exiting the same door where we entered. Just like the processional, it's alphabetical order, so everything is always A through Z. We'll simply move down the rows. The principal here will direct the next row to stand and join in at the end of the row and begin exiting the arena. And this will happen all the way till the last row, and then until all students have exited. And that is the end of the ceremony. So with that, please be sure to have a plan for meeting up with your guests after the ceremony, either in the ticket area or outside, and that may be weather dependent. But again, we really just want to emphasize this. Relax. There's no reason to be nervous for the event or for the ceremony. All you have to do is follow along, and we really encourage you to just take it in as much as you can and enjoy every moment of the ceremony, because at the end of it, you are a Hermantown High School graduate.